In the 90s, the luxury sedan market was dominated by Europe and Japan's finest. But in 1998, Cadillac made one of the boldest moves in its history by entering the European market. The Seville STS wasn't just any other luxury sedan. It was the world's most powerful front-wheel drive production car at the time. This was supposed to be America's answer to European luxury dominance. But instead, it departed quietly after just a few years, as European brands continued to dominate the segment. This is the story of the fifth-generation Seville and why it deserves to be remembered, regardless of its flaws. In the 90s, Cadillac had a major dilemma. Research at the time revealed the average Cadillac driver was in their late 60s, which presented obvious demographic challenges for the brand's long-term prospects. It was quickly becoming clear that Cadillac needed to reinvent itself and attract younger customers. But in 1998, Cadillac did something they never did for 94 years. You see, they were making the first ever Cadillac in right-hand drive, as they introduced the Seville STS in Europe. But that wasn't all, because the official introduction of this new Seville wasn't in Detroit, but in Germany at the iconic Frankfurt Auto Show. In a time where German brands dominated the luxury sedan market, Cadillac placed renewed emphasis on challenging them at their own game. And it all starts with them fixing their first glaring problem. Cadillac knew that the styling of the previous generation Seville was too boxy for Europeans to enjoy. So GM engineers softened the car and shortened it too. This shaved the drag coefficient for a sleeker, more refined profile, much more suited to their new target audience. But that was by no means its only selling point. Under the hood, you had a 4.6-liter Northstar V8, which cranked out an amazing 300 horsepower. This made it the world's most powerful front-wheel drive production car at the time. This is an opportunity for Cadillac to be a direct rival to BMW and Mercedes. A chance for their all-American power and cutting-edge tech to close the prestige gap. Unfortunately, Cadillac would soon be facing some big problems. You see, European brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and even Jaguar had spent decades building their reputations for performance and prestige. American cars, on the other hand, were often viewed as less sophisticated in terms of handling, build quality, and interior materials. In the US, the name evokes prestige, but in Britain, it had a sleazy image. And sure, the Seville made a real effort to fix those issues. But changing people's minds takes years of solid cars and smart marketing to really shift how folks see a brand. Fuel economy was another sore spot. Petrol's a lot pricier in Europe than in the States, and the Seville was a thirsty beast. Officially, it'd give you around 292 miles on a full tank, which meant you were stopping to fill up more often compared to German options. Even so, when the press got behind the wheel, a lot of them were pleasantly surprised, because Cadillac packed the Seville STS with some seriously clever tech under the skin. The Northstar V8 was a real piece of engineering. Dual overhead cams, strong power, and later on it even ran on regular unleaded. But that wasn't all. Behind that was a new 4-speed auto with something Cadillac called Performance Shift Algorithm. Basically, it figured out how you like to drive and adjusted the shifts to match. The suspension, though, is where things got really interesting. Cadillac fitted it with a system called CVRSS. Basically, it scanned the road and adjusted the shocks in real time, giving you a smooth ride when you wanted it. It made the big front-wheel drive Caddy surprisingly agile. But inside, that's where the Seville really tried to impress. Cadillac threw everything it had at the interior to make sure it could go toe-to-toe with the best from Europe and Japan. You got a fancy Zebrano wood trim, a smooth flowing dashboard, and these sleek glowing gauges, like something out of a luxury spaceship. Leather was everywhere, and the STS came loaded with features most cars didn't even dream of at the time. You had a Bose sound system that came standard, dual-zone climate control, and heated seats. Even steering wheel controls for the radio and climate settings were cutting edge back then. Cadillac killed it, and some even said it looked exactly like a Lexus inside. For all its qualities, you'd think the Seville STS would be a surefire success. But over the years, Cadillac came to know one thing, that it was a big commercial disappointment. Initial sales in the U.S. were underwhelming, about 30,000 units in 1998. But by 2003, Cadillac managed a mere 3,386 sales. Overseas was even worse. The Seville was quietly withdrawn from Europe after only a couple of years because it simply couldn't compete in volume. Analysts knew the real secret of its failure. Cadillac threw everything they had into the engineering, but forgot one crucial piece of the puzzle: the marketing and the follow-through. In other words, the STS didn't collapse from a weak chassis, but from corporate neglect in a tough market. By 2004, GM finally admitted defeat and ended its front-wheel drive push. That made the Seville STS the last big American performance sedan to put power to the front wheels. After that, Cadillac went all in on rear-wheel drive, chasing the Germans head-on. The Seville STS will always be remembered as Cadillac's big shot at global relevance. It had the tools, strong performance and clever tech, but it couldn't shake the uphill battle of brand perception and plain old buyer loyalty to the old guard.